Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we are going to go towards the next lecture of property management 2, which is we are going to look at relating OSHA. So OSHA is actually the definition is occupational safety and health, and the A is act. So in Malaysia we have the OSHA 1994, and then we need to look at what is the definition of OSHA based on the theory from other countries, and also we are going to relate to the theories in our country. So OSHA is modern occupational safety and health, and it was started in the 1970s in the UK. So the concept emerged after various studies had been conducted due to high industrial incident during the Industrial Revolution. So the legislation on safety aspect at workplace has been implemented by many countries since then. So it is based on mainly of the cases whereby people having accidents at their workplaces, like in high risk workplaces like in the factory, where they can be crushed by machines, having injuries on their bodies, they don't have protective equipments and others. So the concept of occupational safety and health is very much to protect the workers that is working in the workplace that always have hazards surrounding them. So the act of OSHA is trying to reduce or even mitigate the risk that is available inside our workplaces. So the type of workplaces doesn't matter, whether it's a factory, whether it's an office, whether it's a shopping complex, it's still considered part of the workplace. So the thing that differentiate them is just whether the risk is high, medium, or even low risk. Okay. So for the UK, they try to set out some principle of accident prevention, which is number one, accident prevention is an essential part of good management and of good workmanship. Number two, management and workers must cooperate wholeheartedly in securing freedom from accidents. Number three, top management must take the lead in organizing safety. So workplace safety must be decided by the strategy makers in the company. The low end workers, they don't have the capability to determine this type of policies, but this one must be set out by the top management. Number four, there must be definite and known safety policy in each workplace. So the policy must be known, must be trained, must be made available and also public for all of the workers to read through, so that everybody can have an understanding and also conducting the best measure to reduce the risk. Okay, the organization and resource necessary to carry out the policy must exist. Not only the organization's strategies and everything, but also the equipments. We are talking about the resources, the equipments, safety gears, safety boots, goggles, safety hats, and others. Okay. And number six is the best available knowledge and methods must be applied in under OSHA. So the basic terms, we need to look some of the definition. If we look at the hazard, hazard is a source or a situation with the potential for harm in terms of human injury or ill health, damages towards the property, damages towards the environment, or a combination of these. So the type of hazards is going to be available, especially if you are dealing with dangerous substances, like you are dealing with chemicals. So when you are dealing with chemicals, these chemicals can be corrosive and can affect the body of the workers. So the type of hazard needs to be identified, and the potential for harm must also be acknowledged. So we can take the necessary precautions. Okay, for danger is the relative exposure towards the source. It means the source is the hazard. If you are dealing with chemical, or in our profession, property management, the type of hazards like slippery common area. So the hazard is a slippery common area that can cause uh, that can cause you to sleep and even broke your leg or your arm, and then this is the danger that we need to reduce the exposure with. Okay, an incident is an unexpected, unplanned event in sequence of events that occurs through the combination of causes which relate in physical harms towards an individual, damages towards a property, a near miss, a loss, or any combination of this effect. So the thing is, not only just workers being affected, but the property, the facilities, the machineries is also going to be affected. When these assets cannot operate anymore, then of course we are going to be reducing our productivity, and in turn we will have a reduced revenue or even profit. Okay, so if you can see here, this is the type of symbols that we always use relating towards safety in the workplace. Like of course the skull head with the X mark is said that is going to be very deadly or even lethal. Electricity, explosion, fire, the sign towards inhaling of chemicals, fingers being crushed by machines, hot surfaces, chains. Other than that, you can see chemicals, corrosive chemicals, electricity shock, slip on the back, slip on the front, slip on the, I don't know, vertically. So this is the types of things that we need to mitigate. We need to mitigate, we need to reduce or even avoid at all costs. Okay, so risk is a combination of the likelihood of an occurrence of a hazardous event, and like in the previous lecture we already talked about risk management. So accident causation theories, we can look at some of the theories like the domino theory. An injury from incident is the result of a series of events or circumstances that dependent on each other. Like in the property, like the elevator failed because of the cable or pulley system already failed. Because the cable already snapped, then the elevator failed. The car will come crashing down, eventually hurting the worker or even the people that are inside the car. So the safety measures must be taken up. Okay. Loss causation model introduced the thought of managerial error into the accident causation sequence, whereby the top management or even the managers make human errors, that affects other people inside the organization, like the manager telling everybody not to wear safety hats. Then everybody didn't wear safety hats. Then if very heavy thing fall down onto their head, then they can get head trauma or even head injuries. So they can be directly related towards the actions that is being given by the manager. Okay. And then we have multi-causality accident model, referring to the fact that any accident can be contributed by more than one reason. The electricity shock, like this in this picture, the wiring is not done very good. There is humidity inside the property, there is some rodents chewing down on the electricity wire, so all of these factor can become the reason why people can have electricity shocks inside a property. It is based on multi-causality accident model. Okay, why you need to prevent the incidents? Of course, the first thing is that for legal reasons, whereby if the workplace doesn't provide a safe working environment, of course the workers can sue, the organization can sue, because they are being exposed towards risk that they are not necessarily have to face with, if they fall, if they don't have any safety or precaution measures inside the workplace. So they can sue for the damages that they receive. If they broke an arm, they can sue for the hospital or medical expenses from the company. Okay. Number two is for moral issue. eh? Incidents cause suffering to individuals, the families, the colleagues, and also the public healthcare. Who's going to pay for the medical bills? Who's going to suffer? If you lost an arm during your working time, you have an accident, of course you don't have the ability to work with your former arm. You are reduced in the ability to work, you are reduced in your ability to drive, even to do everyday things. But for more serious consequences, like even deaths, of course, deaths will affect everybody at the family. Either the worker is a breadwinner for his or her own family, of course they already lost a source of family member that can bring the income towards their household. Okay. And number three is for business reason. So incidents lower the productivity and therefore the profitability of the organization, as well as tarnish the image of the business. Like I said before, if the machineries or equipments can run, of course they cannot produce their own products. Of course the revenue is going to go down, the profit is going to go down, and if the incident is very big or big enough, then it can even go towards the media, and then everybody can say, oh, this company doesn't practice safe work good culture, so this company is very bad. It reduces the reputation of the organization. Okay. Other reasons to avoid hazard and incident at workplace, like I said before, business continuity, reputation, the employees protection, financial cost, duty liability, building performance, and also need to have a company policy. So this is some of the theory that how you are going to improve, or even you are going to manage occupational safety and health. The first one, you need to have a policy, you need to organize, you need to plan and implement, you need to evaluate, and then you need to have an action for improvement. So this is a continuous cycle, whereby in the middle you can see you need to have audits, because audits is a type of review. You review all the policies, you review how you organize the policies, how you going to implement the policies, make sure everybody wears safety boots, safety hats, safety equipments. You evaluate the effectiveness of the policy that you have implemented, and then you find ways to improve, whether the safety equipment can be improved, can be purchased that is much safer, how they are going to reduce spillage, how they are going to reduce corrosive chemicals and others. Okay, so this is some of the safety policy. If you go inside a workplace, whether it's a factory, whether it's a shopping mall, whether it's a commercial property, this is the type of document that you will see everywhere, because this is a public document that the organization wants everybody to read through. So sometimes we just go and go pass through this kind of document without even reading them. But uh, it is actually utmost important that you read this first when you arrive at the property, and then afterwards you can go and set out to do your work. We are dedicated to provide safe and helpful environment. Safety and health program will assist management and others. Other than that, other companies for IRP rubber will strive to prevent pollution, protect environment, will comply with all applicable environmental, legal and other requirements. So the top management, the partner, or even like this traffic tag, the president and CEO, is the one who produces this policy. So there are 5 important points in organizing occupational safety and health, whereby first of all, you need to be responsible and accountable. Right? So in this sense, the top management is the one who set out the policy. Therefore, the top management must have the responsibility and accountability. If the worker didn't follow all of the safety and regulation requirement, so the legal actions might not be as severe as if the employer didn't provide this kind of safety and health documents. Okay, the structure and process, you need to have competency and training. So the organization need to train their workers on the safety drills. So that's why sometimes in our workplaces or even in our university, they will provide fire drills, so that everybody can be trained to face the types of hazards or even dangers that is available surrounding us. Okay, having OSH documentation and having proper communication, like having a way to communicate to everybody inside the property, like having walkie-talkies or even loudspeaker in the area, so that everybody can get the information as quickly as possible. Okay, employer and worker participation, like in this picture, this guy is plugging everything inside the PowerPoint. The workplace has cracks. You have chainsaws lying around, and the chainsaw is cutting the board while he was drilling the board also. So this, even though he wear a safety goggle, but the actions made by this guy is actually a character from The Simpsons. Made by this guy is actually very dangerous. So this is a kind of hazard that we are going to avoid. Okay. So other posters, you need to have the type of goggle or even the protective gear for your face, for your eyes, for you to reduce the chances to becoming a pirate like this one. Having one eye, another eye is gone because you didn't practice good safety measures. Okay. And then we have the planning and implementation, initial review, planning, hazard prevention, specify and establish OSS objective. This one we already looked through the documents before. Some of the signboards being used at the organization: caution, danger, warning, notice, exit. So all of this is very important, because if you just read through everybody, but eventually they can be forgetful. But if you have this very big and bright signboards that they see every day, and then they can always be reminded, oh, okay, so this workplace is hazardous or dangerous. So you need to be very careful, like no unauthorized entry, no smoking, lighting or fire prohibited, goggles must always be worn. So another one is safety, a full-time job, don't make it a part-time practice. Okay, risk assessments. So some of the principles given by the theories for DuPont safety principle. DuPont states that All injury and occupational illness are preventable in the workplace. So this type of things needed to be reduced. Training required, audits needed to be done, deficiencies needed to be corrected, unsafe practice incident and injury accidents will be investigated. If the organization didn't investigate, then in Malaysia we have a department also, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Department. They will come and investigate the types of incidents that will happen that is being reported. Okay, so accident prevention is cost effective, and the highest cost is of course the human suffering. You having injury towards your body or even having deaths, of course everybody will be affected. Okay, and lastly is the employees must be actively involved. Number 4 in the occupational safety cycle is that you evaluate. You need to have the performance monitoring and measurements. You need to always constantly have audits, and the top management must always review the performance that is happening based on the audit. So it's a continuous cycle. Okay. Audits, we are going to look a little bit on the audit. So audit conclusion should determine whether the implemented OSH management system elements have these kind of things, whether they are effective, they respond to the results, they enable the organization to achieve compliance, and so this is the utmost important. So that's why we need government policies and government and the parliamentary laws, so that workers can be protected. So if the government they didn't provide these laws, of course the incentive for organization is not there, because they don't have to follow all of these rules and regulation, because this is all taking up cost. But if they are not forced to do, of course they are not going to do, because by right people will always try to reduce cost. So it is most important that the government also needed to always review the type of occupational safety and health laws in the country. Okay. Number 5, fulfill the goals of continual improvement and best OSH practices. Management reviews. Okay. Action for improvement, you need to have preventive and corrective action, and then also have continual improvement. Preventive and corrective action, you need to plan, you need to monitor, you need to audit, you need to review, identify and analyze the root causes of any non-conformity with relevant OSH regulation and or OSH management system arrangement. Okay. Alright, so this is the last slide. So it is utmost important for us, especially you in the degree level, because when you go out into the profession, you will become at an executive level or even a managerial position. So therefore, you as a part of the middle level management, you must make sure and ensure that occupational safety is most importantly utmost being applied on the organization, being applied, and then being enforced, being adhered to, so every worker they can be safe and be protected from the hazards that is available inside the workplace. Okay, so I think that's it for today, and then I hope everybody can benefit through the discussion or even the lecture that has been provided today. So I end the lecture with wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.